So our first exercise that we're going to do, it is stitching with reverse and the tack down. Remember, this is our reverse button and this is our tack down or stitching in place. So what we're going to do is we're going to go straight, pivot, turn, pivot, or just kind of go sew around. I want you to get used to pivoting and using these two buttons here. So I'm going to line mine up on the 5/8, put down. Now keep in mind, my needle is center justified. All brothers are Japanese and they typically come left. I like mine in the center, so let's just go ahead. I'm just doing a regular stitch length at 2.5. And we're going to go forward. So we're going to do a pivot first. Whenever you stop and you still have fabric in there, your needle should always be down. If you try to pivot with your needle up and then you lift up the foot, your material is going to move. So needle down, foot up, let's pivot. 90 degrees, foot back. Now I can continue sewing this way. Let's pivot again, needle down, foot up. We're going to turn, foot down. So when we come to the end of this little sewing exercise, I want you to reverse. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now I can use the scissors. Yep. So I've made kind of a little pocket in there. Now you can see with the reverse, it's done 3 back stitches and come forward. So that's reinforcing a seam. We typically use that in garment sewing. We typically don't use that when we're quilt piecing. So let's go again, and we're going to use the tack down stitch. So I'm just going to move over one width of the foot back down. Remember to never start metal on metal. So let's go forward. So I just went through 1 stitch. Let's hold this. Stitches in place, 2, 3. It stitches in place. So that's another way of locking your stitch. Now I can go forward. And I'm going to go down a little bit more. Needle down, foot up. Let's only go 45 degrees. Sorry, there's math on this. Foot up. And let's pivot, and we're going to come right off the edge here. Now my machine is set at about half speed. I have 50 weight in the top, 50 weight in the bottom. Brand new needle. Let's do a tack stitch or a lock in place. Scissor cut. Once you have scissor cuts, you'll never use anything else. There you go. So it's done a lock stitch right there. And that seam is secure. Now those beautiful pivots there. Let's take a look at the underside. That's where I started. And you can see there's where the lock stitch is. That was our first exercise.